Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists nurse practitioners with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today, I'm going to talk about signing bonus repayment obligations for a nurse practitioner. So, when you sign a contract and you receive either a signing bonus or relocation assistance, reimbursement, there are almost always some kind of repayment obligations associated with that. So I'm going to walk through what to look for, what's reasonable, what's industry standard, and then some of the red flags associated with that as well. So first, this is an essential term to a contract, how much your bonuses are and whether you have to repay them, and if so, what's the schedule. And so this absolutely must be in the contract. Sometimes it's in an offer letter. I would not suggest relying on that. This is an essential term that needs to be listed in the contract. So let's give you some scenarios. So first, let's just say you get a signing bonus. Let's say you get a $20,000 signing bonus paid in your first pay period, which is a really standard way of doing it. There will be language in the contract that says you must stay for, I don't know, usually the initial term, meaning how long the initial part of the contract lasts. Usually it's somewhere between 1 to 3 years. And so it'll say if you must stay for 3 years or you have to pay the entire $20,000 back to us. That's not a great repayment schedule, but that's something that could be. Now, what you want to focus on is decreasing the interval where it's forgiven and then decreasing the total time. And let me give you a scenario. So let's say the contract says you have to stay 3 years or you pay the entire amount back. That's a bad schedule. What you would want would be a monthly forgiveness. So instead of all or nothing for 36 months, it's 1/36 of the total amount is forgiven per month. And then ideally, you would not do it for 3 months. You would want to do it for 1 or perhaps at the most 2 years. So that's an important piece, is making sure the interval is small and then the total time period is small as well. Because you never know when you enter a job if it's going to be a good fit or it's somewhere you're going to want to stay long term. So it's important to get that language in the contract to shorten that time. Another thing you want is language that says if you are terminated without cause, meaning if the employer decides they don't want you anymore, you didn't violate the contract, you didn't breach any terms of it, but for whatever reason, maybe they're shutting down a service line or whatever it is, that if they terminate you without cause, you do not have to pay anything back. That's another thing that you really need to put into the contract. It's not your fault if you start and you're willing to work and there haven't been any problems that the employer just decides to let you go. That's their decision, but you shouldn't have to pay back any of your bonuses in that scenario. So make sure that language is in there as well. The same can be said, in regards to the signing bonus for relocation expense reimbursement. So normally, if you're moving for a position, they'll pay for your move. Generally somewhere between $5,000 to $15,000 is a standard amount. And so if they pay that out to you, usually the same forgiveness schedule applies to the relocation as whatever the signing bonus is. Some places will do a little bit different, and they'll usually shorten the amount of time that you have to repay the relocation reimbursement to a year, and maybe the signing bonuses too. But most of the time, it's the same schedule for both. And then one last consideration, if you get a $20,000 signing bonus, you're not getting $20,000 in your bank account. It is taxed. So instead of a $20,000 bonus, you're getting, $12,000 or $15,000 into your bank account. When they expect you to pay it back, they expect you to pay back the gross amount, $20,000, not what was actually paid to you. This is something that definitely trips up some nurse practitioners. It's just something they're not expecting. And so that is also language that can be negotiated and entered into the contract that just says you owe them the net amount, not the gross. Now, if you do have to pay back the gross amount, it doesn't mean that you'll completely lose that forever. There are ways in your taxes to get that back in the next year. You'd have to work it out with your accountant. But that's one other thing that many people are just simply not aware of. If you get paid $20,000, you're not receiving $20,000. but when you pay it back, they expect you to pay back the full amount. So that's a little bit about bonus repayment for nurse practitioners. If you have any questions about your employment contract or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm. All the contact info is listed below in the description, and I appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.